This episode of Steve's Outdoor Adventures was brought to you by the Adventure Armory. Rifle, scope, and ammo packages for hunters. This week, Travis Price from our office is driving from Northeast Oregon across southern Idaho and into western Wyoming. Where he will meet our outfitter and guides at the trailhead and ride horseback into a backcountry wall tent camp. This is elk hunting the way it was years ago. And to many traditional elk hunters, this is the way elk hunting should be. Deep in the backcountry and away from the roads, far from the trucks and ATVs, disconnected from modern society and the comforts of home.
So great location here for camp. As you can see, we're down close to the creek bottom here for the horses to have some water, corrals, and just a beautiful location. As you can see behind me, there's some pretty big mountainous peaks and some openings, so it's great to have these horses that can get us up onto these ridges to do some glassing, and you know, we're gonna check it out tomorrow and be ready for opening day. Big change in the weather so far today. It's definitely cleared off and much colder than it was yesterday, and the snow has stopped, so should be good elk hunting weather.
Most of our elk hunting here is spot and stalk. So we'll get up on a high point where we know we've seen elk before and been able to kill elk before. And then you sit behind the glass. Spotting elk ain't very tough, so they're either there or they're not.
The objective is to get up high and glass this vast and incredibly beautiful landscape. And it usually doesn't take long to spot some elk. And in one drainage, they spotted a big herd of elk, feeding out of the timber and with a herd bull that looked promising.
So those elk that we saw across the hillside here, about 50 head and a really nice bull, actually 2 shooters, one really big. They kind of fed down the canyon on the other side. In fact, a couple went over the ridge as the sun started to come over the horizon. So we thought they were gonna all feed over and kind of be gone and out of sight. But a lot of them held up, including the big bull. And in fact, they're starting to kind of feed back the other way they came. So we're gonna hustle around this bull and get to the other side and see if they don't feed right into us. So we'll see how it plays out. As we sit on this open knob and glass where the elk last were, there's also a closer face right here, you know, between 500 and 200 yards away, and we spotted a really big black bear. I mean, really big. A little bit of color to him too. Really beautiful animal. He's bedded there too, so lots of wildlife this morning. So we've been sitting on this hillside for a while, and Ward's got a great idea of circling around and kind of getting to mid-mountain on an opening that we can see. The elk should be, looks like they're up and kind of meandering towards that other side. So we're going to get up there and see if we can't run into them. Hopefully we get a shot at the big boy. putting a play on or trying to put a play on. I think the cows saw us and we bumped them, and so they all ended up going over the horizon, pretty much all 50 of them, so they might be out of range now. So we decided to come over to the north side of this ridge and look in this other basin. And there's a 6-point bull that we're kind of contemplating on, so just spend some time looking them over and make a decision on if we're going to go after them or not. Looks like they're kind of feeding up.
Pretty long snoot, just belly crawl.
Before the end of the day, Travis and his guide had seen over 100 elk. And while the big herd bull had escaped, this was only the first day of Travis's hunt. This segment of Steve's Outdoor Adventures has been sponsored by Bergara Rifles, a passion for precision, every barrel, every rifle. This segment of Steve's Outdoor Adventures is brought to you by Pendleton Ammunition and our new line of TSS turkey loads.
Well, it's early morning here in western Wyoming. Saddling up the horses to head out for the day. Clear and cool again, actually clear and cold. We're going to a different area than we were yesterday, so I'm excited for that. And can't wait for the sun to rise and see what we can see.
Usually we've tied the horses up and hunt on foot. So you peek over this ridge, if there's nothing, you can walk up over that ridge and look over here, look back over here, maybe you change your game plan because you spot some a long ways away and you head there.
So did you see anything down there? No, okay. We haven't seen anything here either.
No, there's nothing, any all this or anything.
Okay.
There's a ton of tracks in here.
Yeah, I could see them all the way coming down that slope and then in here too in the bowl.
There had to be like 100 head of elk in here.
Yeah.
Go past a couple days at some point.
Yeah.
But I think all those tracks are going out the top.
Okay.
Out that saddle over there.
Okay.
So what we can do is take this trail right around the mountain.
Okay.
And see if they're on the other side.
Go on the backside.
Make a play on them then.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Perfect.
Nice try the wind on this side, ain't it?
Yeah, no wind at all. I like this spot. We can see a lot.
Yeah, we can. We'll do a little blasting for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Way, see if we can spot any elk.
Yep.
We'll climb up on this point right here. Just look around.
Perfect. Try and find the lead.
Wait for something to show themselves.
Cool. I'm in.
All right.
So I had a great day today. Went up high into the high country and saw some new country and spent a lot of time glassing. Although we didn't turn up any elk, had a great day.
This area of Wyoming is rugged and hard to access without horses. And while there are a lot of elk in this backcountry area, the game is scattered across the vast landscape. And the horses allow hunters to not only cover a lot of country, but also keep the legs fresh. So after a week of glassing and hunting this amazing area, Travis's hunt is winding down. With a single day left in camp, Travis and his guide spot a bull, a nice 6x6, and close the distance.
Well, that hunt didn't end the way I wanted it to. I didn't make the shot I needed to, and I went home without an elk. But I went home determined not to just come back the following year and try again. I made a promise to myself that I would come back better prepared.
The first thing we did was take Travis's rifle and give it a complete makeover. It was a standard Bergara B14 Hunter, and we took that gun into the Adventure Armory and converted it to the B14 Alaskan Hunter. With the black Cerakote finish on the metal so that it was rust resistant, and swapped out the full field 2 scope for a Burris Eliminator 3 laser scope. And we took the gun back to the range and developed a load for the rifle to shoot a bigger, heavier bullet that has a higher ballistic coefficient and would deliver a lot of accuracy and energy downrange. Once the rifle was done, Travis spent the next year shooting, improving his skill level with the rifle and getting confident in his short, moderate, and long-range shooting ability. He also jumped into the gym, working out daily and getting into peak physical condition. He did all of the things he needed to do to make sure that when he returned to Wyoming, he was as prepared as possible for the hunt. But even then, success is not a given, it's earned. This week's gun segment was sponsored by Barry's VersaCradle. Whether we're at the bench or at the range, it's the perfect tool for every job. This segment of Steve's Outdoor Adventures has been sponsored by Marathon Seat Covers. We've got you covered. This segment of Steve's Outdoor Adventures has been sponsored by Pendleton Ammunition. Loading bullets, 1 round at a time.
When I returned to camp the following season, everything was the same, except the weather. This year there was a lot more snow, and a lot of snow in the forecast. The wind drifted the snow across the trails and piled up back in the timber. And while we had to hunt a little harder, there were still a lot of elk around.
So we woke up to an inch of snow or so today, ideal elk hunting conditions. We got up to where we were last night and kind of did a loop, but didn't come up with anything.
This season, not only is the snow a factor, but the low clouds hang in the mountains like a dense fog, and this makes glassing for elk a lot more difficult. It's one thing to sit on a windy ridgetop glassing for elk when you can see a bunch of country. It's another to sit on the same mountain with snow falling all around you, unable to see anything. But it's usually in those moments when the clouds finally lift enough to see just a little bit that you get your chance.
I had a shot at a smaller bull, but darkness was setting in and we didn't get a shot at the bigger bull. But my hopes were up. We knew where he was and we had a plan for the next day.
We'd have killed one right there.
Yeah.
The next morning it was snowing so hard that we decided to sleep in. There was no way to hunt in the blizzard, but when it broke just enough to see, we geared up and headed out.
Poor visibility, about knee-deep snow, and so unless we get up high and hopefully where they're kind of working their way down to lower elevations, it's going to be another tough day, but I'm staying positive and still going hard.
He's a tiny 5.
The second one up?
Yeah. You can say the word.
There's more elk up top.
We just came around this point to do some glassing, and with the naked eye we could see elk. Sat down and spotted 19 total head, and there's probably 4 bulls. The biggest one seems to be about a 5x4, so I'm gonna walk all the way up there, get in position, make a decision on that bull, and see if anything else comes out more mature.
This segment of Steve's Outdoor Adventures has been sponsored by Burris Optics. Find what matters. This segment is sponsored by Adventure Armory. Rifle, scope, and ammunition packages shipped, ready to shoot. If you'd like to book this week's adventure for yourself, give our office a call. We will gladly take your calls, answer your questions, and help you book the hunting or fishing adventure of a lifetime.
We're still in blizzard conditions. It's about 4 days in a row or so. We got back in the head of this canyon. We spotted some elk, actually heard a couple bugles too. There's 3 bulls, 2 shooters. We're gonna drop off this knob and see if we can get in position. They're still 600 yards away. We're trying to cut the distance. Yeah, this guy's up. I'm gonna go out there.
Snow might be cold and wet and miserable, but when it snows, the elk have to work harder to eat enough calories to survive. This means that they're up and feeding more, and this creates opportunities for hunters. And that's exactly what happened for Travis.
Yeah. Stay there. It goes away eventually. Like after a minute or 2. After like 6 seconds. It's a little risky. There you go. Is that good?
718. 1220. Nothing. 574, what do you think?
This is what I've been training for all year. This exact moment.
His head's up?
Yep.
Dropped him. You down? Oh yeah, he's rolling down the mountain.
Yeah!
Heck yeah.
Yes! Dude, that was epic.
Oh, that was freaking sweet.
How sweet was that?
Look, see him rolling down the mountain?
Wow.
You dropped it, dude.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Oh my
That was a
God,
heck
dude.
of a shot.
Oh my God.
Oh, that was freaking awesome.
Oh, it's like a huge weight just lifted from my shoulders. 574. It was really tough to get a range, but finally got 2 ranges at 574 yards across the canyon. Visibility's a little rough, but made an awesome shot. He rolled down, he stopped. This is my absolute favorite style of elk hunting. Horseback, wilderness, backcountry. Absolutely love it. Can't wait to connect people to this adventure. Ward, thank you so much for being a part of this and getting us on these elk and this bull.
I forgot my windbreaker jacket. Okay.
So we rode around, got right below where the bull expired. He slid down a little bit of the hill, but we're right underneath him, maybe 100 yards now. So we're gonna tie up the horses and take some photos and give some high fives. This is the definition of deep.
There's one for the blooper reel.
Oh.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Good shoot, man.
Yeah.
With the elk down, Travis and his guide start the process of cutting the tag, breaking the bull down, and loading the pack animals for the long ride back to camp in the deep snow. his mission accomplished. But when I think of elk hunting, I think about horses and wall tents and bugling bulls deep in the backcountry, the long rides and the blowing snow, and the campfires that take the edge off of the cold. Elk hunting has changed a lot over the last few decades. Our clients now ask for hunts on private lands, access using four-wheel drive trucks and UTVs, and big fancy lodges. They want to hunt places where they can tag out in a day or two and get back to the daily grind of life. Our clients come from all walks of life, and we have developed that network of private lands destinations that the majority of our clients want to experience. But I fear that we have lost the hunters who are more concerned about the camaraderie of elk camp, a place where success or failure is measured by the quality of the journey and the friends that you shared the elk camp experience with. Not the math on a Boone and Crockett score sheet or the Instagram post with their latest trophy. I live for the phone calls when I hear that someone wants to go elk hunting, because I know that that is the hunter who will truly embrace the life lessons that are learned in elk camp, where the memories stay with the hunter forever embedded in their soul. If you'd like to experience elk hunting at this high of a level, this quality of an experience, give our office a call. We're always available to take your calls, answer your questions, and help you book the hunting or fishing adventure of a lifetime. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this week's show. But please remember to join us again next week when we bring you another exciting episode of Steve's Outdoor Adventures.